Tiny earbuds with good sound. Let's check them out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out these. Pull one out for you. These are the tiny Eleror T1 mini Bluetooth earbuds. And as you can see in the case, this is the smallest earbuds in case I've ever looked at. But they pack a punch. Not a huge punch, but a medium punch, we'll call it. So they're powered by 6mm composite drivers, and they're essentially designed for smaller ear canals and smaller ears, but I find they work fine for me. So pull it out, put it in your ear, and by the time you get it positioned properly, which you can see in this close-up, you can want to have that surface flat because it's a touched surface. So you actually have that ability to use touch controls to turn on things like extra low lag mode, and of course pause and play, next track, previous track, all those sort of things. I'll put the other one in here too. And it does come with 3 sizes of ear tips. So I will say, as with all of these devices, it is very important that you take the time to try the different sizes to get the best possible fit. How do you know it's the right fit? Well, all of a sudden you have bass. So when I pulled these out and had the default medium ear tips, and honestly they look like small, extra small, and large, but we'll call it medium, the middle size. When I had those, I was like, this is okay. I'm getting some, mid-range and a little bit of lower frequencies. But then I changed to the larger ear tips, which is what I have now. And it's just like, oh, here we go. Here's where all that bass went. So they're actually really pretty easy to work with, pretty comfortable. Let me jump right into a demo. So there's 2 things. I can't really demonstrate their music reproduction, but I can demonstrate the microphone because they actually have what they call environmental noise cancellation. They use a different name, but it's ENC, and they have dual mics. So both are picking up, so you should get good sound. So let's find out. So now what you're hearing is my voice as picked up by the Eleror T1 mini Bluetooth earbuds. And it's not bad. I mean, I had to, you have to talk a little bit louder to be able to make sure the person on the other end can hear you. But that's okay because honestly, the microphones are kind of a long way away from my voice and my mouth. But now you have heard the audio side of it. Let me switch back. I think they do a pretty good job with that. Let me take them out now. And I will tell you that each one has 8 hours of playback on a battery charge, and then the case gives you 3 more charges. So theoretically, you can get up to 30 hours without having to plug them in again. And when you do, there's USB-C on the back, and there's a USB-C to USB-A cable included. Not a huge surprise. Let me give you a couple of close-ups of the earbuds themselves so you can see the touch surface. They're very simple, very straightforward design. This is the purple color. They also have a light tan, which they call nude, which I'm not sure that's going to be exactly anyone's skin tone, but I guess someone who maybe isn't out in the sun very often, that maybe it's theirs. So let's see. So I've told you about the various specs. They have the touch controls. There's a no lag mode you can switch to for gaming or for watching videos. They have a pretty minimal lag, so I watched some videos and I didn't really notice any big deal, but for gaming, having it from 100 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds or whatever the actual numbers are, that is pretty important. So you do 5 taps, get you into no lag mode. It still has lag, but just a tiny bit. And then 5 taps gets you back to regular listening mode. So you might just go into the no lag or minimal lag mode and just stay there. That's probably perfectly fine. They are running Bluetooth 5.3, so that is the very latest version of Bluetooth. And here's one thing that's really cool. They are fully waterproof. They are IPX7. So if you want to take these and go for a run or something, I found that they stayed in my ears pretty darn well. So you can go for a run and it can start raining and you can be sweaty, or you can have one of them drop, I don't know, into your cup of coffee and then you have to fish it out. Totally no problem. IPX7. And they are silly light. And in fact, the case, as you would expect, is also super light. So the whole thing, honestly, this is something where you're like, is there any circuitry inside of this thing? And the answer is yes, there is. So that's really great. Now, let's talk about the sound reproduction. So there's some pros and some cons. It does a competent job with music. I found that it didn't give me a lot of soundstage, so there's not a large sense to the music you're listening to, but it is reproducing all the frequencies, so it's giving what people tend to refer to as more of an intimate experience with the music. If you've listened to lots of different like headphones and earbuds and stuff, you know that sometimes when you close your eyes, it's like there's this huge auditorium with all the musicians playing, and other times it's like I'm kind of jammed in a little, maybe a closet with all the musicians. And this is a little closer to the closet than it is the Hollywood Bowl, which is not necessarily a criticism. And again, depending on what you're listening to, for classical music, I'm not sure these would be what you'd want, but if you're just listening to videos, if you want to just listen to the soundtrack of your favorite video game or something, if you're listening to vocals or podcasts, or you're on a call, then these are going to work really well. It's a nice, simple reproduction. Now, the other observation I'll make is they don't get super loud. So I was listening to some various movie soundtracks, and they tend to have a lot of dynamic range and a lot of drama. And I had to turn my iPhone 15 Pro up to, I would say, somewhere between 80 and 90% to actually have it start to really be an encompassing experience. So the good news is that if you want to get these for like teenagers or something, then they don't get super loud, so that's going to be good for protecting their hearing. The bad news is if you really want your music to be super loud, then these might not be the ones for you. They don't get super loud. Again, that depends on your listening and music preferences. So if it's a podcast, if you're listening to audiobooks, if you're on the phone, or you watch a lot of, Zoom or training videos or something, then these will be perfectly fine. They're going to work really nicely for you. But if you're like a real headbanger, then again, it might just be a bit too small for what you need. So that's really everything I got. I'm just being really candid with you. So I hope this is of value, and I hope this helps you make a decision whether these are a good fit for you. Now, I do want to talk about the price because they are remarkably inexpensive. But before we get to the price, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel. And when you click that subscribe button, click the bell icon to get notifications of my new reviews. While you're at it, if this was of value, I always appreciate, yes, thumbs up. Sweet. Now, let me put these back in their tiny little case. And I really like the case because it feels like it's some sort of 70s retro version of the future. But these are the Eleror T1 Mini Bluetooth earbuds. And they come in this color, which is they call purple, I would call lavender. And they come in nude, which I would call tan. But two different color choices. They are $26.99 at Amazon.com. For just a smidge over 25 bucks, these are a pretty solid option that are definitely worth checking out. Unless you really want super loud music, in which case then you probably need to pick up something else. That's everything. I'll hope to catch you in my next video.